The dining room chandelier caught the afternoon sun, sending tiny rainbows across the hardwood floor as I turned my key in the lock. The rainbow vanished instantly as the door swung open, revealing strangers hauling boxes up my stairs. One of them bumped past me with a child's bed frame, not even glancing my way. Inside my kitchen, my mother directed traffic with confident gestures, while my sister arranged framed photos on my mantel. These were photos of her family, not mine. My skin turned to ice as my peripheral vision darkened. The scene before me became unnaturally sharp and focused, like viewing a horror movie through a telephoto lens. "Where should I put the kid's dresser?" a mover called down the stairs. My sister pointed toward my home office without a moment's hesitation. Second door on the right. My office. The space where I'd written 3 novels, where I'd designed the blueprints for this house, where I'd mourned my divorce in private, away from their judgmental stares. My voice emerged as a whisper that somehow silenced the entire room. "What are you doing in my house?" My mother froze mid-gesture, surprise flickering across her face before melting into practiced sympathy. "Oh, Olivia, you're home early. We wanted to have everything settled before you got back." My fingernails dug crescents into my palms as I stepped fully inside, letting the door slam behind me. Settled? In my house? My name is Olivia. I'm 35 and an architectural designer. This is the story of how I rebuilt the boundaries my family bulldozed. The invasion began 3 days earlier when my sister Vanessa's husband lost his job. This was their 3rd financial crisis in 2 years. Each time, my parents scrambled to rescue them with loans they'd never repay, with childcare they couldn't afford, with endless excuses. Meanwhile, they'd forgotten my birthday for 3 consecutive years. My father appeared from the kitchen, a sandwich in his hand. It was my groceries, my bread. "Don't be dramatic, Liv. Your sister needs help, and you've got 4 bedrooms just collecting dust." "I work from home," I said, my voice gaining strength. "Every room in this house has a purpose." "My purpose?" Vanessa rolled her eyes, her diamond earrings catching the light. These were earrings I recognized from our grandmother's collection, the collection that was supposed to be split between us when Grandma died 2 years ago. I'd received nothing, while Vanessa had somehow walked away with every valuable piece. Just one more betrayal in a long history of favoritism. "You're always so selfish. It's not like you're actually using it." I watched a mover place a box labeled "Master Bedroom Items" at the foot of my stairs. My bedroom. They were taking my bedroom. "The master suite has better light for the kids," my mother explained, following my gaze. "We thought you wouldn't mind moving into the guest room for a while, just until they get back on their feet." Her smile was placating, rehearsed. "Family helps family, Olivia." The room seemed to tilt as rage rose in me like a physical force. For years I'd swallowed their dismissals, their assumptions, their intrusions, all in the name of family peace. I'd attended every one of Vanessa's baby showers with expensive gifts while they'd forgotten my book launch. I'd hosted holiday gatherings they criticized. I'd lent money they never acknowledged. "Get out," I said, my voice deadly calm. My father scoffed. "Don't be ridiculous. The movers are already half done. Your sister's lease ended yesterday." "I don't care if her house is on fire. This is my house, my name on the deed, my mortgage payments, my design, my life." I pulled out my phone and began recording. "And you're all trespassing." My mother's practiced smile cracked. "Olivia, put that away. This is family business." "No," I said, keeping the camera steady. "This is criminal business. Breaking and entering. Attempted unlawful occupancy." A mover paused on the stairs, glancing uncomfortably between us. "Ma'am, is there a problem with the move-in?" "The contract says." "The contract is fraudulent," I cut in. "I'm the homeowner, and I authorized nothing." My sister lunged for my phone, her manicured nails scraping my wrist. "Delete that! You're being insane!" I stepped back, raising the phone higher. "Touch me again, and I'll add assault to the police report." The word police rippled through the room like an electric current. My father set his sandwich down, his face darkening. "You wouldn't dare call the cops on your own family." I met his gaze steadily. "I already texted my lawyer the video. Keep going, and I'll have them send the sheriff." For 28 years, my father's glare had made me shrink. Today, I didn't flinch. "Ma'am," the lead mover said quietly, "we can't be involved in a property dispute. If you're the legal owner and you're not authorizing this move..." He motioned to his crew, who immediately set down their boxes. My mother's voice turned sugary, desperate. "This is just a misunderstanding. My daughter is having a little moment. If you could just continue." "No," I interrupted. "The only misunderstanding is you thinking my life is yours to rearrange. The movers are leaving. So are you." The stillness that followed was absolute. My family stared at me like I was a stranger, and I realized I was. I was the stranger they'd created by ignoring who I really was for decades. My sister broke first, her voice a hiss. "We have nowhere to go. You had a plan yesterday before you decided to steal my house. Use that plan." My father stepped closer, looming as he had when I was a child. "Olivia Catherine Baker, this is not how we raised you to treat family." "You raised me to be a doormat," I replied. "That version of me doesn't live here anymore." His face flushed crimson. "After everything we've done for you." "Name one thing," I challenged. "One birthday remembered, one accomplishment celebrated, one time you put me first." The silence was answer enough. I walked to the door and held it open. "You have 30 minutes to remove everything you've brought into my home." "Or what?" my sister sneered. I smiled for the first time since entering the house. "Or I post this video on every platform tagging your employer, the country club, and the PTA board you're so desperate to join." My mother gasped. "You wouldn't." "I wouldn't have yesterday," I admitted, but that was before I found strangers in my kitchen. The next half hour passed in tense silence. The movers worked double time, hauling boxes back to the truck with efficient, uncomfortable speed. My family members avoided my eyes as they gathered smaller items they'd already unpacked. No one spoke, but their fury was palpable, a living thing filling every corner of my invaded home. As they prepared to leave, my mother approached, her eyes glistening with tears I'd once found impossible to resist. "Olivia, please, just a few weeks. Vanessa's children, your niece and nephew." "No," I said simply, "and I'm changing the locks today." My sister brushed past me, shoulder checking me hard enough to bruise. "You'll regret this," she hissed. "When you're old and alone, you'll regret pushing away the only people who care about you." I met her gaze calmly. I'd rather be alone than surrounded by people who only care about what they can take from me. When the door finally closed behind them, I leaned against it, legs trembling with delayed shock. Through the window, I watched them argue in the driveway. My parents were gesturing wildly, my sister crying theatrically, her husband kicking at the gravel. For the first time, their drama felt like someone else's problem. Inside, evidence of their invasion lingered. There was a scuff on the wall from moving furniture, crumbs on my counter, the lingering scent of my sister's perfume. I moved through each room, reclaiming my space with slow, deliberate steps. In my office, I found a half-unpacked box of my sister's children's toys already scattered across my desk. I knelt and methodically returned each item to the box, then carried it to the front porch and left it there. Just like my family, these toys no longer belonged in my life. That night, I contacted a security company, a locksmith, and my attorney. By morning, I had new locks, a doorbell camera, and legal paperwork drafted for a restraining order if necessary. When my phone rang with my mother's number, I didn't answer. Instead, I opened Instagram and posted a single photo. It was my home office restored to order, sunlight streaming through the windows. The caption read, "Some people confuse kindness with weakness." Today, I remembered the difference. I didn't name names. I didn't need to. Within hours, my sister called, her voice tight with fury. "Take that down. People are asking questions." "Good," I replied. "I've been answering their questions honestly." She inhaled sharply. "You're humiliating us." "No," I corrected. "You're humiliating yourselves. I'm just not covering for you anymore." Over the next week, the fallout was both subtle and devastating. Friends texted asking if I was okay. Relatives called wanting gossip. My sister's pristine social media presence suddenly faced uncomfortable questions about why they'd tried moving into my house. Her profile was curated to showcase her perfect family life. My father's business associates, who'd always viewed him as a pillar of integrity, now viewed him with new eyes. My mother's church friends, who'd heard endless stories about her ungrateful younger daughter, now wondered what else she'd misrepresented. 10 days after the attempted invasion, they arrived at my door again. All 4 of them were standing on my porch like supplicants before a temple. My father's shoulders slumped. My mother's makeup couldn't hide her exhaustion. My sister's designer outfit looked rumpled, her husband's face etched with defeat. Through the doorbell camera, I watched them wait, then ring again, growing increasingly desperate. Finally, my mother leaned close to the camera. "Olivia, please. This has gone far enough. People are talking. Your sister might lose her position on the fundraising committee. Your father's clients are asking questions. We need to present a united front as a family." I unmuted my end of the connection. Why? The simple question seemed to confuse them. "Because we're family," my father said, as if the word alone was reason enough. "Family doesn't break into someone's home," I replied. My sister pushed forward. "We had a key," which was for emergencies, not theft. My mother's voice cracked. "What do you want from us, Olivia?" "An apology?" "Fine, we're sorry. Now let us in so we can discuss how to fix this mess you've made." I laughed. It was a genuine laugh of someone finally seeing clearly. "The mess I've made? That's exactly why I'm not opening this door. You still think I'm the problem?" My sister's husband spoke for the first time, his voice weary. "Look, we screwed up. We get it. But this vendetta isn't helping anyone." "It's helping me," I said simply. "For the first time in my life, you're all seeing me as a person with boundaries, not just a resource to exploit. That's worth everything you're losing." My father's face darkened. "So that's it? You'll throw away 30 years of family over one mistake?" "This wasn't one mistake," I corrected him. "This was the last mistake. The one that finally showed me what I've allowed for 3 decades. My sister shoved her way to the camera, her voice shrill. "You think you're so perfect? You think you don't need us? Wait until something goes wrong in your perfect little life. You'll come crawling back." I smiled, feeling a calm I'd never known before. "That's the difference between us, Vanessa. I've never had anyone to crawl to when things went wrong. I've always solved my own problems. That's why I have this house and you're standing outside of it." I watched them leave, huddled together in their shared outrage and confusion. They still didn't understand, and maybe they never would. But I understood something vital. The price of peace should never be your self-respect. Later that week, I heard from my cousin that Vanessa and her family had moved in with my parents temporarily. They'd rented a much smaller apartment across town, far from the prestigious school district they'd wanted. The country club gossip confirmed they'd been forced to downsize significantly. This was a blow to my sister's carefully cultivated image of success. Part of me felt a twinge of sympathy for my niece and nephew, caught in adult battles not of their making. But I reminded myself that their parents' poor planning wasn't my emergency. 3 months later, my doorbell rang on a Sunday afternoon. I checked the camera to find my mother standing alone on the porch, looking smaller somehow, less certain. No demands, no family battalion, just her. I opened the door, but didn't invite her in. "I've been thinking," she said after a long moment, "about what you said. About not being able to name one time we put you first." I waited, neither helping nor hindering this moment of reflection. "I couldn't think of one," she admitted, "not a single time. And that's—" She swallowed hard. "That's unforgivable." "Probably," I agreed. She nodded, accepting this. "I'm not asking for forgiveness, or for things to go back to how they were. I just wanted you to know that I see it now. What we did, what we've always done." She handed me a small box. "Your grandmother's pearl earrings. They should have gone to you years ago." I took the box but didn't open it. "Thank you for returning what was mine." She flinched at the emphasis but didn't argue. Vanessa and your father still don't understand. They think you're being cruel. But I wanted you to know that I do. Understand, I mean. As she turned to leave, I felt the weight of 3 decades of hoping for this moment, for any moment of being seen by my family. Mom, I called. She turned, hope flickering across her face. This doesn't fix anything. I know, she said quietly, but I thought it might be a place to start. I didn't invite her in that day or the next time she came alone, 2 weeks later. But the 3rd time, I made coffee and we sat on the porch swing. Not inside my home, but not entirely outside my life either. Some family ties aren't worth repairing. Some betrayals cut too deep. But as I rebuild the boundaries they spent a lifetime trampling, I'm discovering that the strength it takes to keep people out can also be the strength it takes to let the right ones back in. On my terms, in my time, in the home that remains unquestionably mine. Unlike my failed marriage 5 years ago, I'm learning that healthy relationships require mutual respect. My ex-husband's inability to respect boundaries led to our divorce after just 3 years. The divorce had been finalized quickly, with both of us recognizing we couldn't continue. I'd used the settlement to help fund this house, my sanctuary. Now I guard my personal space as fiercely as I guard my heart. Before you go, here's a quick bonus for sticking around. If you love learning and growing like I do, you need to try audiobooks. I've got an exclusive deal with Audible. Your first month is completely free. That's access to over 500,000 titles, 0 cost to you. All the details are waiting in the description. Don't miss this one.